Serap asks Buhari to use confiscated stolen assets as isolation centers. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Serap, has sent an urgent appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari, urging him to urgently instruct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami San, to work with the appropriate ministries and agencies to identify, publish, and use confiscated stolen assets as isolation centers. Serap said, using confiscated assets as isolation centers would provide safe and enabling environment for the treatment and care of people, improve the authorities' ability to respond to COVID-19, reduce the risks of Nigerians and to public health. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osaige Ehenare, had last week reportedly begged Nigerians to donate and temporarily make their buildings available as isolation centers. According to him, more buildings will be needed as the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, aims to test 2 million people in the next 3 months. In the urgent appeal dated 2nd May 2020 and signed by Serap's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the organization said, while it is important to wrap up testing for COVID-19 to prevent the spread of the virus, asking Nigerians to donate their buildings as isolation centers would be counterproductive, as it would put them at greater risk of contracting and spreading COVID-19. Serap also said, rather than begging Nigerians to donate their buildings as isolation centers, the authorities should identify, publish, and use confiscated assets as isolation centers as a temporary measure. Using confiscated assets as an isolation center would be proportionate, necessary, and serve a legitimate objective, namely to protect public health and public order. According to Serap, the proposed measure would be lawful and more effective, as it would be in the public interest. Using the confiscated asset as proposed would neither violate the accused's rights to property nor entail a duty to compensate. The proposal by the Minister of Health will pose unnecessary risks to public health. The urgent appeal read in part, Serap urges you to ask Mr. Malami to urgently work out the details and modalities for implementing these recommendations with the Ministry of Health, Nigerian Center for Disease Control, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offense Commission. Serap urges you to ask the Minister of Health to drop the idea of begging Nigerians to donate their buildings as isolation centers and to move swiftly to focus on implementing these recommendations as a step towards effectively reducing the spread of COVID-19, treating and caring for people, and fulfilling the right to health in line with Nigerians' human rights obligations and sustainable development goals. Our recommendations, apart from being entirely compatible with Nigerians' international anti-corruption obligations, including the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, which has been drafted, would also enhance the ability of the authorities to effectively and satisfactorily respond to COVID-19. Reducing health risks associated with Nigerians donating their buildings as isolation centers would complement the authorities' objectives of ending COVID-19. As the right to health is closely related and dependent upon the realization of other human rights, including the rights to private and family life, asking Nigerians to donate their buildings as isolation center may also violate the fundamental human rights. The recommendations would also enhance the ability of the authorities to effectively implement the country's international human rights obligations, particularly regarding to take effective steps to prevent, treat, and combat epidemic, endemic and other diseases such as COVID-19. Serap's request is also in line with the related public commitment by your government to provide details and locations of all recovered stolen public funds. Publishing confiscated assets would also be entirely consistent with the judgment by Justice Hadiza Rabiu Shagari of the Federal High Court, Lagos, which ordered your government to tell Nigerians about the stolen assets it allegedly recovered. The judgment was delivered in July 2017 following a Freedom of Information suit number FHC CS 964-2016 brought by Serap. Your government has also refused to obey the judgment despite Mr. Malami publicly promising to do so. We hope that the aspects highlighted will help guide your actions in acting to ensure enabling environment as isolation centers to treat and care for Nigerians, and the NCDC takes steps to ramp up testing for COVID-19. Copied in the urgent appeal are Mr. Abubakar Malami, Dr. Osaige Ehanare, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwezu, Director General of NCDC, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, Chairman, ICPC, and Ibrahim Mustafa Mangu, Acting Chairman of the EFCC. So, my people, this is Serap, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. They've sent an urgent appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari. I wonder if they are going to respond to this, because that is what they normally do. They will come up with a different version and come up with different stories again. But it is really quite shocking for the Minister of Health, Osaige Ehinare, asking Nigerians to donate their buildings. While we Nigerians donate their buildings, are Nigerians the people looting? The ones looting should be the ones donating all that they have looted. By the way, what Serap is even asking for, it's not too much to ask for. The government, presidency, they are claiming that they've recovered a lot of looted belongings, properties, landed properties, and all of that. That's what they allege. But they have not one day provided details of those buildings that they said they've recovered. Right now, what Serap is asking is that those buildings that you said you've confiscated and that you've recovered as a result of loot, those places can be turned to isolation center. And as a result, because if Nigerians give you their buildings as isolation center, it means you might want to compensate them in some form or the other way. But if they begin to use confiscated buildings and properties, then they don't need to spend money to compensate anyone again. Or is it that those buildings confiscated, they themselves, they've taken it for themselves, they've shared it again? Loot is just like they say, arm robber killing arm robber. So they are the looters. They claim that they've taken from people looting the country, and right now they've looted it back to themselves. It's quite unbelievable, but let's see how this is going to play out. Serap has given the notice, urged President Muhammadu Buhari, this is what they ought to do. And the people he copied in this, because they can't say they didn't get this, it was listed here, the names that are copied. Dr. Osaige Ehinare, who is the health minister, he was copied. Dr. Chikwe Zuda, the Director General of NCDC, NCDC, and also the EFCC acting chairman for EFCC. All the EFCC, they are the ones even recovering all the stolen properties and looted things that were looted. They are the ones in charge, so they have all the details. They should use those details to provide isolation center for Nigerians to be able to fight this dreaded disease. So my people, please, I do want you to leave your comments down below in the comment section. I want to take this time to say thank you to everyone that have subscribed. Please, if you haven't yet subscribed, do click on the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit on the like bell. Just give us a thumbs up just to let us know you do appreciate what we're doing. So till I come your way again, it's bye for now, and God bless.